Am I the a-hole for making my dad look bad on a post he made about my late brother? I don't know why I, 21 male, even have to ask, but it's super confusing how some people are reacting to what I did. Not over the top, but still think I was out of line. It happened a while back, by the way. My brother 14 passed away 3 months ago. He had leukemia, getting treatment for it for years. It still hurts, and I'm still not in a good place, so that's why I don't know if my reaction to my dad was really that bad. I feel like that's not even close to what he deserves. He basically deserted us when my brother was 8 and I was 15. It hurt my brother a lot, but my dad made promises to come pick us up or visit. None of that actually happened. Then it got to where there was only a phone call maybe once every few months. A year after we left, he didn't even want custody of us when my mom passed, so we ended up with my mom's parents. For all that crap, I was already done with him. But when my brother got sick, he wanted my dad around, so we communicated. My dad only came to see him once. In the 2 years my brother was sick, my dad only came to see him once. Not even when we knew we had to say goodbye, and my brother was asking for my dad. He didn't want to go, because it would be too hard. I agree, but tough luck. It hurt me seeing my brother like that too. Then he wasn't at the funeral either. Reason why they think I'm the a-hole? My dad posted about my brother on his Facebook. It was a picture of my brother that caught me off guard when I was scrolling. And my dad was saying he misses him and couldn't even attend his own son's funeral because supposedly he wasn't told. It made me so mad I left a long comment on his post. Not calling him any stuff, but saying that nobody stopped him from going to his own kid's funeral, and pointed that he knew about it because he left me on read when I sent him the info. No one stopped him from going to see my brother when he was dying asking where he is because we all told him. And also that nobody stopped him from being a freaking dad when he walked out on his kids. It was kinda cathartic, not gonna lie, but everything I said was the truth. It just made me angry the way he was talking like he wasn't given a chance to say goodbye. My dad messaged me privately, mad because I'm talking crap to him when he only wanted somewhere to vent, and he don't need to be told he's a horrible dad. My grandma agrees with him and that I should apologize because my dad is a parent grieving the loss of his kid. My grandpa at least is on my side, but I've gotten comments from that post that I should be ashamed of myself. That my dad wasn't a good dad but he feels guilty for that, so I shouldn't add more to it. Again, I don't know why it's so wrong to say that. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your dad used your brother for attention on social media and tried to play the victim role of a father that isn't even told when his child dies, which he was from what I could read. Just for some clicks and some comments, your father used your brother that he almost was completely no contact with. Your brother must be worth nothing more than a few clicks to your father. Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry for your losses. Your dad should not have the privilege of calling himself a parent when he did not put in any of the work. I'm gonna say not the a-hole, but I'm all about calling out people's BS on social media. I hate fakers and liars. And your dad is lying and trying to get sympathy where he deserves none. He sounds narcissistic and selfish, and I'd consider going no contact. Shouldn't it be that hard, considering he's basically been no contact by choice this whole time? We haven't been in contact anyways. Only reason we talked was because my brother was sick. Your dad used your brother for clout. He wants sympathy and attention. There's nothing wrong with what you did. For Pete's sake, he couldn't even grant your brother a last wish of saying goodbye. He left you both long ago. It's best to honestly cut him out of your life now. You don't need such a selfish person in your life. I'm so goddamn sorry for the loss of your little brother. I hope you seek therapy or ways to help you grieve. Take all the time you need. Heck, take a day and go get your brother's favorite ice cream. Make yourself a scrapbook. Your brother loved you, and he was so lucky to have you by his side always. Not the a-hole. Funny you mentioned favorite ice cream. He actually loved frozen yogurt. Went to a place we used to go all the time, but it made me sick, so I didn't even get to stay. I don't know. I can't eat stuff we both liked. My grandma says that's part of the process. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not wanting to interact with my biological father but still expecting him to pay child support? I, 18 female, was raised by a single mom. My parents divorced when I was just 2 months old and my mom got full custody of me, so I never met my father. All I've ever really known about him is his name and the amount of child support money transferred into my bank account each month. Now, in my country, a non-custodial parent is obligated to pay child support up until their child turns 18. But this can be extended for a few more years on the condition that said child decides to pursue a higher education and go to university. So, as you can already guess, as soon as I turned 18, my father stopped paying child support. But when I graduated high school and got accepted into a university, I decided to use this extended child support law to my advantage and took him to court. Me and my mom weren't doing all that well financially, and thought the extra money would definitely come in handy. The case took quite a few months to get resolved, and the courtroom was the first and last place where I saw my father in person. His reasoning for not wanting to continue paying child support after I turned 18 was that I didn't want to have any sort of relationship with him, so he didn't want to send money to a complete stranger each month anymore. He told the judge he'd agreed to continue paying child support on the condition that I agreed to get to know him and talk to him on a regular basis, but I declined. I mean, even if biologically he's my father, this man is nothing more than a stranger to me. I have no real interest in getting to know him, and I never did. Wanting to have a relationship with him would be like wanting to have a relationship with the sperm donor who conceived you. I ended up winning the case, because the law is very clear on the fact that he has to pay child support for as long as I'm in university, regardless of whether I want to actually interact with him or not. Now he has to pay child support every month up until I graduate from university. We ended up getting in a huge argument as soon as the last court hearing was over, and he was really upset because I didn't even want to talk to him for a while and give him a chance, but still wanted to prey on his money. So from a legal point of view, I'm in the right. But am I in the right from a moral point of view too? Am I an a-hole? I should also add that my father never made any attempts to pursue a relationship with me while I was growing up, and neither did I. My mom never actively tried to get me to meet him, but at the same time she made it clear that she was always open to talk if I wanted to know more about him, and ready to answer any questions that I might have had. Except that, well, I never really had any questions to ask her and was never really interested in him. She also never badmouthed my father and never tried to stop us from meeting each other, but neither of us ever made any sort of attempt to do so. I don't think he's a bad man, but I don't think he's a good man either. He is just a stranger who didn't want to be involved in my life, so I don't want to be involved in his life either. I don't resent him. I have no reason to. It's just plain old disinterest both on my part and his. Not today, home. You didn't ask to be born, and you certainly didn't ask to have an absent father. You're the kid here. He has obligations. You do not. Good luck with school. But she's asking about the morality, not the legality. Immorally, she's the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Law is clear. He had 18 years to build a relationship and declined. I am sure he could have tried to build a relationship over those 18 years. Applied for visitation. Opie, have you investigated to see if he tried to see you but was blocked by your mother? Make sure there isn't information on this being hidden from you. Also, why are you so sure you would have refused to see him as a child? Did your mother heavily influence him against you? My mom was always open with me while I was growing up and never tried to block him from trying to contact me. This was even confirmed by my father himself. He was just never interested in getting to know me up until now, and I wasn't interested in getting to know him either. Why am I so sure I would have refused to see him as a kid? I mean, I was perfectly happy with the family he had, which was made up of my mom and some other relatives, so I just had no interest in knowing more about my father. I didn't resent him or anything because I wouldn't have had a reason to. It was just plain old disinterest, both on my part and on his part. I've seen some men do this before. They don't want anything to do with the child, but once the child is grown, they want to connect and play the role of dad to someone that doesn't want or need it any longer. No, you're not an a-hole. He had his chance to connect with you. You're right. He's essentially a stranger to you. Next story. Am I the a-hole for going to college out of state without my stepfather's permission? My stepfather and I have never had a very good relationship. We can't seem to agree on much of anything, but I am very non-confrontational and try my best to make him proud to avoid arguments. The one topic that I have never been willing to compromise on is college. I began talking about college during my freshman year of high school, and from the get-go, the topic was unwelcomed. It angered him that I wanted to talk about college, and the excuses never stopped. I don't have enough confidence in you yet, you're not ready yet, you're in too much of a rush to leave me, etc. I felt unsupported, and because of that, I decided that I wouldn't bring up college anymore. Fast forward to 2020 to 2021, I've graduated salutatorian of my class, got accepted into 13 out of 14 schools applied to, and won 12 scholarships on top of a full ride. Throughout the entirety of my senior year, talking about college was such a hassle, as I always felt unsupported in my academic endeavors. So I made a decision to attend college on my own. I picked a school out of state that offered me a full ride scholarship, and I broke the news to my stepfather. At this time, my mom already knew, as she was the one who helped me narrow down schools and make the decision. He didn't take the news well, and since May when I told him, every day there has been another argument. I've now been told that I am the worst thing that could happen to a man like him, and that because I've decided to go to school without his permission, I am doomed to be a lesson for my younger siblings about what happens when you don't work together. He has even blamed his relationship issues with my mom on me and my decision to go to college. I feel terrible about it. But I know that it was the only way I could attend school, since no matter what, he would have never supported me. I've tried telling him that I feel this way, but he never seems to listen. Instead, I get the guilt trips off, I guess I love you more than you love me, and why are you in such a rush to leave like I'm a bad guy? I just kind of wish he would be proud of my accomplishments and want me to care about my future as much as I do. He says that me going to school is an adult decision that I shouldn't have made alone because it impacts my family. Yet, they aren't paying a dime. In fact, my stepfather says that it is wrong of me to leave only, because I would leave more stress on my family because I wouldn't be home to cook, do laundry, and watch my siblings. Am I the a-hole for deciding to go to school out of state without his permission? I love my family dearly, and it hurts to go so far away from them. But I was given an opportunity that doesn't come often. Now for the comments. I'd call your stepfather a prick, but that would imply he has a use and is capable of providing pleasure. You are not the a-hole here. Go build a life. And when your mother wises up and ditches this waste of proteins, be supportive. May or may not be a prick, but he is most certainly a narcissist. Good on Opie for getting out. Not the a-hole. You're an adult. You don't need anyone's permission. Also, what the hell is with his constant woe is me diatribes? I'm a dad, and I have zero understanding of his arguments. How is this having a single impact on him as a person? As a parent, I could understand missing your kids, them being so far away and being worried. But what he said? No clue. He is deranged. Not the a-hole. Your stepfather, however, is a massive a-hole. I would consider limiting your future contact with him, as the emotional manipulation from him, I guess I love you more than you love me, and why are you in such a rush to leave like I'm a bad guy, is very concerning. Get out, Opie. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for asking for the full inheritance instead of splitting it with my sister? I'm 28 female and she's 32 female. Don't know if that matters. Recently, our father passed away. He didn't really leave any money, but he has a partially paid for condo which I desperately wanted to live in. It's nothing fancy, just a small 650 square foot 2-bedroom place. It's cozy, and I've been struggling with homelessness since my husband and I split. Rents have drastically increased. I'm talking over doubled since I was on my own last, and I can't afford anything. The cheapest 1-bedrooms are $1,800 a month and bachelors around $1,500, while after taxes I make just under $2,000. I want to assume my dad's mortgage, which is right around $600 every month. So I asked my sister, pled my case, and she didn't take it so well. She's not hurting for money, owns multiple properties all over the world. I even said that if we can make it, that if anything were to happen to me, she could still get half. I'd want my half to go to my son, which is also the reason I don't want to move somewhere cheaper. My ex-husband lets me visit outside their place whenever I want, but if I had my own place with a suitable bedroom for our son, we'd be splitting costly 50-50. Anyways, sister and her husband have sent me a barrage of angry texts calling me a greedy a-hole. Curious about Reddit's opinion? Please be gentle. Now for the comments before the little update. Gentle, you're the a-hole. Need really has nothing to do with it. You aren't entitled to it more than your sister is. This. Without much of a backstory, it's hard to make a huge judgment. But your sister being more successful than you doesn't mean she has to pick up the pieces. Why can't it be sold as is, and you buy a place with your share of the proceeds? Or offer to buy your sister out of her share? Selling it and selling it now is probably the best plan since so many real estate markets are hot right now. things may slow into the fall and winter, since they typically do. You would be the a-hole if you don't drop it. She's entitled to her share, irrespective of her financial position. I don't think you're greedy or wrong for asking, but the answer is sadly no. Could you ask to buy her out via payment plan? No, she doesn't want to sell it anyway. She wants to rent it to make profit. And that profit could benefit you because half would be yours. I mean, she says she'll split it. But do I actually think I'll ever actually see any of it? I wouldn't hold my breath. Massive update. I just want to thank everyone who has been kind and took the time to read through my comments, giving me advice. I just wanted to say I've read them. I had a big breakdown last night because I realized I was in way over my head with all this legal stuff. You guys were asking me to look up laws and probate, and just so much stuff I don't understand at all. I was trying and fiercely Googling. In the end, I called my ex. He's a lot more savvy with this kind of stuff, but I try not to intrude in his life. And had a bit of a cry while explaining everything that was going on with my dad's stuff, me being locked out, and just all the other drama with my sister. He said back when our son was born, my dad gave him a copy of his will, since that was also around time my dad started getting sick. Long story short, he found it this morning, and the condo was left to us. There should also be an RESP for my son, and it is signed and notarized by a lawyer. He said it will help me through the process, and that we can contact the lawyer together, and my ex will help explain things to me. Also, as mentioned in the comments, when we divorced, my dad told me he was updating his will, leaving the condo to me. I was not aware this was in reference to the fact that he had previously put my ex-husband in the will. So we both expect there to be new will. However, I know my ex, and believe him when he says that if there isn't, he won't try to take anything. My spirits have been lifted, and I'm very hopeful this could all work out. I'm already daydreaming of having my son back home with me. Again, thank you so much to those who took the time to give advice. Without your encouragement, I wouldn't have had the guts to contact my ex. Just thank you.